Hi, it's me again, and the next video in this series is Kahoot. So there are several options for Kahoot, but those vary based on pro or premium, free versus free. So I'm going to show you some of the payment options there. But basically, Kahoot is an assessment tool that gamifies an interactive question asking. It also can be done student-paced, but primarily we've seen it demonstrated live and teacher-paced. So let's start looking at this assessment tool. Okay, so like I said in the introduction, Kahoot is a game-based assessment tool that challenges students to answer questions at a certain rate. And normally the free version is going to include images and then some very different varying ways of asking questions. The premium and the pro version are going to include some more advanced questioning like puzzle, giving you scenarios that will help the students critically think through things and analyzing them. So I'm going to show you some of the options on the website. We're going to log in with our Google, which is kind of nice. It's very easy student access to get into it as well. You'd give them a code and they'd play, they'd join. There's a whole bunch of Cahoots that are built in that you can browse and you can find for yourself and edit and assign to your students. You can also create your own Cahoots, and there's some different options there when you hit the create button. You can share it with your students. And then basically, again, the tool, just like Edpuzzle, Kahoot is its integration in its own. Basically, it's the topic or the way that you approach the questioning for that Kahoot. So the first thing that's important to look at here is the pay options. So the free option is use basic features to create, play, and host games outside of the classroom and in class. So it's just the basic things. So basic features, and I'm going to show you those as well. I don't have a pro version or a premium version or a premium plus. So you're definitely going to see me demonstrating the free version, unless of course it defaults to something free automatically. You can see what happens where there's more question types. There's also more question types within the premium. And then on this one, you can collaborate with a peer teacher, co-teacher, and then you have some advanced reporting options. The premium one, as you can see here, like I said, a different group of questioning or an advanced types of questions. They added the distance learning tools, and you can do bigger sized games that have more for a school-wide option. And then you can dig into the premium plus if you want to see exactly, you get everything that's over here, and then you'd get some interactive lessons. You can import slides. So it kind of sounds like Nearpod, and Nearpod's free with that. So if you get a chance, check out the Nearpod playlist that's on this YouTube channel for NWOET. All of these you can start a free trial. So if you want to mess around with them and see how they act, I would mess with the free one first and then maybe go up to the pro and the premium just to see how they are different. And then of course you have your lovely little table down here that shows you exactly what it does and does not do. So I decided to click on continue for free, and this is just the regular free version. So I'm going to see my login screen here and see the options for logging in. Again, looks very much like the last application we were talking about, the last tool. I'm going to just choose login with Google since I am a Google organization, G Suite organization. It's going to ask me which account I want to use, and I'm going to have a whole bunch of them here. So I'm going to choose the Tanya Sanders account. Then I'm probably, yep, there it is. I'm going to have to allow, and this is repetitious through all single sign-on through Google options. So hopefully it's going to spin me to something manageable here where I can start creating a Kahoot or browsing. So I'd like to show you the browsing option first. So you go up to Discover to be able to discover some Kahoots that are out there. Okay, so the first thing that I like to show is the Discover option. So all I did was from the home menu, I clicked on Discover. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and it's going to show me the entire collection of top picks. or the ones that are created from K Academy. They do have a lot of these tools have turned to getting people certified, kind of like the Google certification, but they're making you Kahoot certified or Nearpod certified so that you get that certification and you can be an expert on that, just like you would in the Google certification. But it's going through all of these, and you can look at the collection of things that are kind of the top picks here. But also I can just go up here and I can search for a Kahoot. So I'm going to search for math. Let's see what happens. So now I'm on a page that allows me to see everything. And it's like, oh, there's a lot of stuff there. So I could do level. So I could change it to 3rd grade and apply. So now it's going to look at everything that's 3rd grade math. I could also put something more specific up here than just math. So I'm going to choose one of them. So elementary graphs, I can tell it has 15 questions. I can star it. I can see that 19.6 thousand people played it. And now it's going to load it and it tells me all the questions. So what type of graph is this? What type of graph is this? What type of graph is this? So I can play it or I can edit it. And then I also can share this, make it my favorite, and then I got the ... where I can duplicate it, preview it, and flag it. So I'm going to show you what it looks like for sharing. And I can copy the link, tweet it, Facebook, share to Classroom, remind, Microsoft Teams, and email. So I can do all of these options for sharing this Kahoot. So, and I still mean the same thing when I say share, rather than sharing it specifically to another Kahoot user. So if I hit the share to Classroom, it's going to connect me to my Google Classroom and I can assign it to my students, which is even simpler than what I had stated in the introduction. So if I want to play this right now, I hit play and it gives me the option of teaching or assigning it. So if I'm live, I could do this as a live game together with anyone, whether we're face-to-face or blended. But I also can assign this on a certain date and they can complete it at their own pace. It would be easier if I just did it in my Google Classroom and assigned it that way. So I can look for any type of Kahoot that's already made for me, make it my own, edit it to fit what I want it to be. And that's all through the Discover area. So that's the first place you might want to go when you first are exploring the Kahoot atmosphere. The next option is to just hit create and start creating my own. So when I hit create, just like when we went into the edit of that one Kahoot, it will show me exactly the things that I can put in there question-wise. So I can get a template, as always, a Kahoot for formative assessment, and get to know your teacher. So you can choose one of these, but I'm going to create something from new. You can explore these on your own. I always like to start from blank because then I see the hardest option of whatever's to offer me. So in here, we've added a question. It automatically gives you a question. I want you to note that as soon as I went to type, it gave me the bold, italic, the subscript, and the superscript. And then it looks like it gives me some symbols here that I can use as well minimally. So I would type my question in here. What is the answer to this question? And then I can drag and drop images. And that was the same thing with Padlet before, that we could have taken something from my desktop and dragged it in here. Since I have so many things open all the time, I'd rather just either go to the image library or upload an image physically. You can also put in a YouTube link as well. So I'm going to go to their image library. Let's see what they have. And I'm going to go to this one and place it in there. So I now have this crop option that I can crop the image. The thing about using their images, one, it has to fit what you want to do, and two, it's probably the right size for each question. you don't have to worry about the images that you have on yours being too big to upload. So time limit 20 seconds, I can change that. Points, how many points is this one worth? I could make it less or more. Okay. And then single select, multi-select. So you can have multiple, and it looks like that's going to be a pro feature, so we can't do that one, but we basically all need is a single select. So with my question, what is the answer? We can go in here, 1, 2, 3, and then I tell it which one is correct by hovering over this. Now I can also add images to the answer, so I can have textual and image portions of the answer. So I'm going to say that one's the right one. And then if I'm ready for another one, I just hit add question. Now the neat thing about question bank is if I have created questions in the name of me over and over again, it will throw them all in this area, and I can pull them from that question bank anytime I want. So let's say that I give an assessment every 2 weeks, or a follow-up to a in-class lesson. Then I can do a cumulative exam later where I can pull so many questions from each of those tests and make them into one new test. Now you can see anything with the little crown is going to require us to pay for that. So the only thing we can do is like a multiple choice or a true and false. So let's do a true and false and put this is true. And then we got true and we got false. Again, same thing, time limit, point value, image library, upload image, YouTube link. So you can go to any of these things that you can find a video or paste a link from a video up here and then say where you're going to start the video at and where you're going to end. So that's a nice feature to be able to do that. And those are your only 2 options. Well, let me go back in here and go add a question. I've done true or false. Quiz is the same thing that we did on the first question. This is my second quiz answer question. And then again, change the time limit, point value, upload an image, and then you can type your answers in here and say which one is correct or incorrect. And again, you can add images to those. Now, you can see that the import slide, so if I were importing something from a Google slide or a PowerPoint or something like that, I could upload up to 80 megabytes. PowerPoint, the new version, old version, Keynote, and then you can also bring in a PDF, which is kind of nice, but that is an upgrade feature. I wonder if I can go in here and start typing a question. So which, there we go. And it's going to go all the way into the discover option of Kahoot. So which is not a texture, which point, and so I could add these questions as I'm searching the question bank. It also includes my questions as well, but you can see that it gives you even more options of not recreating the wheel. Someone else has already typed a question kind of like that. You can go to the question bank and search for that. So I'm done with my quiz. So I'm going to hit done. I'm going to give it a name. I practice Kahoot. I can give it a description if I want, and then hit continue. So now it directs me back to my home page, and there's my practice Kahoot right there. So just like the one that I found in the Discover area of Kahoot, I've opened my own that I created, and now I can play it, or I can edit it, or I can share it, like I said before, which is the whole link Google Classroom remind thing. Star it, and I can even delete, rename, duplicate, preview. Well, let's preview it since we're in here. Preview it and see what it's going to look like to the students. So this is the view that it gives you when I'm ready to play it now with my students. I would give them the join at www.kahoot.it, or they can go directly to a Kahoot app if they are on a device, handheld device, and they would punch in this number. And after they would click in all those characters, then they would be asked to give themselves a name, and then they would start the game. I would start the game through here, but there's no players now. So you can also go full screen. You can put music on, and then you can adjust the volume of that music if you do decide to turn it on. So when my Kahoot comes up, it gives me the option of the classic player versus player, one-to-one devices, or if I have them in teams that they're competing against each other. And then I can change the game options by expanding that and turning on certain things, but you can see the little crown makes it pro premium version. Okay, so you can turn on or off any of these options: randomize order of question, answers, minimize the instructions, make them two-step join for more security, and automatically move through the questions, or you have to wait for me to kind of move you on. And they have to rejoin after every game, and all those things need to be turned on to make those happen. When you're finished with a certain Kahoot, like for instance, if I found one through the Discover and did it with a couple of my classes, and that's actually what I had done here, is name that tune. And what I would do is I could look at the reporting of that. So if I open the report, I can see how people answered that. And what I did was I just clicked on report. So if I open that report, it will show me the statistics associated with that one. So 14% got it correct. Name that song, need help. These are some of the names that they put in. So it basically just shows you the statistics of it. And this was a random group. I did this as teams with devices. So they teamed up and they played this together, which was kind of a fun experience with a group. So there's also the options of underneath your name. You can go to the settings and see what kind of default settings you have in there. But that's about it. It's that simplified. I think they're trying to get bigger. In fact, I'm a little disappointed in how cluttered their pages are. They're just trying to give you so much information here. But that's the good part of it, is there's so much information to help you get connected to resources and other Kahoots. I did notice that they had this academy, and I talked about how people get certified whatever. Well, the K Academy allows you to be certified Kahoot to allow you to be better at creating questions and challenging assessments for students. Kahoot is a fun way to gamify your classroom and gamify your instruction. You can use it, integrate it within your classroom several ways, mostly for an assessment piece. But if you want to think of it more specifically, you could get people started thinking about it. So like a pre-assessment to see what they already know about the topic that you're going to do. You could also do the same one as a post-assessment and gauge on the report how they improved from the pre to the post after your lesson was taught. You can also have it teach things about the classroom, so classroom management. What are the rules with devices? What are your rules for being in a meeting online? Or what are your obligations if you are in collaborative groups in the face-to-face classroom? So you could put those into this assessment tool and then drill the students on that. You could ask them to review before a test, put some questions in there, or before they do a summative assessment of things to prove their learning and how they did that. Also, it's great to use with subs. You give them the link, they play the game, or you even just put it online. The students can do it student-paced all on their own. So there's any kind of assessment way that you can think of using Kahoot. That's probably the best way to do it. So that is Kahoot. Very simple. If you have the free plan, You can upgrade if you like, if you're really into the big piece of this assessment tool. But for the most part, if you just want to have some fun, engaging quizzes for your students, the free version is just fine. So you can use multiple questions, multiple choice questions, and true and false, and you're all good, because you can put the pictures in there, you can put videos in there, you can put the media in with it. So I think the free version is enough, but of course I showed you the paid version, the premium version, and what the differences are between those. So I hope you enjoyed Kahoot. We have one more video in this series, so hang with me. I'm hanging with you here. We're going to talk about Kami in the final video. If you do have questions about any of the tools up to this point or Kahoot, you can email sanders@nwoet.org. Thanks.